Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a small plane makes an emergency landing in Victoria County. Plus, passengers on a flight to Mexico are forced to make an emergency landing in Texas after a threat is found aboard. And a deadly storm batters Eastland, Texas. Residents describe tornado-like winds and a flipped RV.
Of course, the winds are a big problem across Texas and our area. Yesterday, they were coming from the north. Tomorrow, they're going to be coming from the south, and that's going to warm us up as well. We'll talk about what to expect for the weekend coming up in a moment.
And the Coral Lady Gobblers women basketball team won multiple all-district awards earlier today. I'll tell you who won later on in sport.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie. Don Brubaker has the night off. A small plane made an emergency landing in a field off Fox Road this afternoon. Victoria County Sheriff's Office deputies rushed to the scene. It happened around 1 p.m. No one was hurt, but this field is about 6 miles south of the Victoria Regional Airport. Victoria Police and Child Protective Services are investigating after a passerby found a child wandering a busy street. This video was taken shortly before 1 o'clock this afternoon on Mockingbird just off Navarro. A driver stopped in the road to get the child out of harm's way. Other Good Samaritans were unable to find her caregivers. Now, Victoria Police say they received a call of an unattended child in that area around 10 o'clock this morning. They say a joint investigation is ongoing with Victoria Police Department and Child Protective Services. State Representative A.J. Louderback is taking action to crack down on bad behavior at youth sporting events. He has filed House Bill 3369 to close loopholes that prevent school officials and UIL referees from ejecting disruptive spectators. Right now, refs often have to issue warnings before removing someone, but this bill would change that, giving them the power to kick out unruly fans immediately. If passed, the law would take effect in the 2025-2026 school year, ensuring officials can take the focus on the game, not the sidelines. So for our viewer poll today, we want to know, should referees have the power to eject unruly fans without warning? Yes, it helps maintain order, or no, warnings should come first. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And right now, 63% of voters feel that they should have the right to immediately eject someone who is being unruly and not have to issue a warning first. So continue voting. We'll have the latest numbers coming up on 25 News Now at 10. A multi-million-dollar expansion could bring big changes to the Victoria Community Center without raising property taxes. The proposed plan adds seating, a new exhibition hall, and more space for livestock shows and events. Coming up tonight at 10, how this project could impact local students and bring even bigger crowds to Victoria. Well, let's take a look outside at our weather with a first look at the forecast. Mac Perez, looks like, gorgeous weather, but that wind is just not quite dying down yet.
Yes, the sunny skies will be with us. It'll be in the 80s over the weekend, but your hair is going to be going this way as the winds are still now coming back up from the southeast, as you can see right about here. The reason they're going this way is because we're looking at the next big storm coming through. This one will pass a front through here on Saturday, and it'll be cooler on Sunday, but it'll still be windy. We'll be talking more about that. Take a look at your weekend coming up in a moment.
The American Red Cross needs more volunteers as disasters grow more frequent. Their Shelter Heroes program trains local residents to help with emergency shelters during hurricanes and wildfires. Since July, the Texas Gulf Coast chapter has responded to 1,400 disasters, helping 2,000 families, but they still need more hands. To get involved, visit redcross.org/shelterheroes. Well, everyone in one Texas town survived when a possible tornado came through Monday night. It hit the one place that you don't want to be in such a circumstance, a mobile home park. Brenna Gibbons toured the damage and spoke to a man who is counting his blessings.
I thought I was dead, but I still heard noise, so I just told myself I had to get back up and get out of the camper. I've got things to do in life. Can't give up now.
Eastland resident Nathan Lale sustained minimal injuries. He said all he has is a few scratches and a couple bruises.
Pretty sure this is the top of the right side. That's the kitchen. This whole area right here is the kitchen. This is my desk. That's my entire gaming setup.
So that's where you were sitting at?
Yeah, right there, actually.
Garrett Guthrie has been the general manager at Wandering Oaks RV Resort for 3 years and says he has never seen anything like this.
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, if you were caught out in that last night, I would be, I would have my tail tucked between my legs. You know what I mean? I mean, the hail, the rain came down like none other, as usual. But then the wind, that's what took the cake.
Guthrie says that one of the guests at the RV resort called him at 4:30 a.m., letting him know RVs were being tossed around.
It was a borderline tornado, or it was a tornado, because it sounded like a freight train that can't coming through here. I'm just glad everybody's okay. My understanding is no one's in serious critical condition.
Many residents who were staying at the RV resort told us the wind was so strong that they thought it was a tornado.
Just take everything one step at a time and see what I can do. I mean, miracles happen all the time, and this whole thing was one.
Lael says that when the RV was flipped, he was thrown against the walls and that he is lucky to be alive.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted to censor Houston Democratic Representative Al Green for disrupting President Donald Trump's joint address to Congress on Tuesday. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com. 156 passengers bound for Mazatlan, Mexico found themselves in El Paso after an emergency landing. It happened aboard a Sun Country Airlines flight. The plane landed after someone on board found a written threat and alerted the crew. Law enforcement officials searched the plane after it landed and found no credible threat. The FBI is investigating the incident. The airline says that it is working to get the passengers and crew to their destination. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, U.S. immigration agents are planning a new operation to arrest migrant families, including children, as part of a nationwide crackdown. Plus, President Zelensky meets with European leaders urging urgent action on defense while facing growing uncertainty over U.S. involvement. U.S. immigration agents are planning a new operation to arrest migrant families with children as part of a nationwide crackdown. That's according to 3 sources familiar with the planning. Sources say the operation will target adults and minor children who entered the country together and have orders of deportation. After arrests, they will be detained before removal. A separate effort is underway to find unaccompanied children released without court dates. Sources say ICE lawyers are working to secure warrants for home arrests. As the plans take shape, the Trump administration is also working with private prison companies to bring back family detention centers that were closed under the Biden administration. European leaders are holding an emergency summit in Brussels, charting a new course to rearm Ukraine now that President Donald Trump's position on the war has become more clear. Nick Robertson has more.
Barely inside the doors at the EU in Brussels, Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky huddles with top officials. Diplomacy across Europe accelerating as the US tightens ties with Moscow. This is what Europe working at speed looks like. Unlike the high-speed decision-making inside the White House, leaders here have to meet again and again and again, meaning there are no quick fixes to fill all the security gaps they fear the US is leaving them. This meeting about raising money to pay for a massive defense spending hike with as much as 800 billion euros at stake.
Europe faces a clear and present danger, and therefore Europe has to be able to protect itself, to defend itself.
It's not just Ukraine feeling let down by US President Donald Trump, it's Europe too. After years of fearing how a second Trump presidency would impact allies, reality has hit, and it's ugly.
It is about damn time. This is something that we have been asking for a long time, that the European Union, that Europe is capable of standing up on its own 2 feet.
Zelensky, reeling from the apparently capricious cutting of US intelligence and wider US military abandonment at the table, his nation's future hanging on how fast European funds are authorized and how quickly the money is turned into weapons.
We are very thankful that we are not alone, and these are not just words, we feel it.
Not alone, but Europe not even close yet to having the money or deciding how to spend it. Europe's leaders still hoping for Trump's security partnership in Ukraine.
We must make sure, with a calm and wise approach, that US support is guaranteed for the coming months and years, because Ukraine is also dependent on their support for its defence.
Inside the EU leaders meet, two pro-Russian leaders, Hungary's Viktor Orban and Slovakia's Robert Fico, didn't derail Europe's rearmament. Plans to raise the defence funds got the go-ahead. Nick Robertson, CNN, Brussels.
President Trump plans to convene bi-weekly sessions for his cabinet members to confer with Elon Musk about cuts in their departments as he works to make cuts more precise. After the first of those meetings today, Trump wrote on social media the group was in agreement on the necessity of reducing the size of government. The president described the initial meeting as a very positive one, attended by Musk and most of his department heads. Trump appeared to suggest that as his cabinet secretaries come into their posts, they will take more of a role in deciding how their agencies and departments carry out reforms.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. The winds picked up. They're now coming at us from the southeast, and you can see they're sustained at 16, so they're gusting up to about 25. You probably felt them today. We're at 66 degrees. We may get some cloud cover overnight as all the Gulf air rolls back in. We managed to get up to 72 this morning, and it was a rather crisp 39 this morning. Tonight won't be that cold because the Gulf air is coming in. We'll talk about the windy weather forecast coming up after this. That windstorm we had a couple days ago brought us the northwest wind with the very dry humidities, right? Well, today everything's rolling back up as the winds are now coming up out of the southeast, pulling back the Gulf moisture that we had seen sort of go bye-bye. Winds tonight won't be so bad. Tomorrow it'll be a little breezier, probably in the 25 to maybe 30 mile an hour range. Not as bad as the day before, but these will be onshore winds and it'll be rather blustery, but it'll also help get the temperature up into the 80s. Now, we don't have an advisory up for a red flag warning, but I believe that it's a little early because the front that's coming through us, it'll be here on Saturday, and Sunday we're going to have another dry northwest wind. We may have that wind strong enough that they may reissue that, so we're going to be just, shall we say, watching out for the winds as the frontal system passes through. So for the time being, you can see how it's strong out of the southeast, and that not only brings back the Gulf air, it gives us a little cloud cover, and it helps warm the temperature up for tomorrow. But here's our next big thing. This storm's rolling out of the Rockies into the plains where it's going to cause more severe weather. This is a classic springtime pattern. Severe thunderstorms are more likely in March, April, and May as the warm air collides with the cold air that's still over parts of North America. As that frontal system comes through, it will produce some activity north of us, but we're just too far south and we don't have enough time to rebuild that moisture over our region. So tomorrow, Friday, up to about 83, Saturday about 85. Then that front comes through, and so this is going to be windy here, but it does get a little cooler on Sunday as that north wind kicks in, and also very dry. And then we get back up into the 70s for the early part of next week. So tonight, because the wind is now out of the south, won't be as cold. We were down to about 40 last night. Tonight we'll be down to about 58, 60 degrees. Tomorrow, yes, a warm, breezy day. We're looking for some gusty afternoon winds, but we'll get up into the 80s. And while we're in the low 80s, look at that, San Antonio 87, Laredo 94, 92 Del Rio. Why them so much warmer? Well, for us, the winds will be off the Gulf. That's milder. This is coming off the landmass, so it's hotter, and that's why they're looking for much higher temperatures. So a little bit of cloud cover in the overnight time period. Then we watch the big storm. It rolls out of the Rockies, rolls into the plains, and on Saturday night it passes through our area. Most likely there'll be stormy weather up near Dallas, but I don't think it'll come this far south. And by Sunday, that all blows away, and then we get that dry, somewhat cooler air, so it's not exactly, you know, a major cold front. Tomorrow, a little bit of cloud cover because of the Gulf air, southerly winds blowing, getting up to about 15 sustained, maybe 25 as a gust. In Cuero, you start off with the cloud cover in the low of 61, getting up to 83 in the afternoon, and then we get up into the mid 80s on Saturday. That's when the front comes through. Now we have an alert day bulletin up because of the dry north winds that may put us back into a fire situation. So heads up. A little cooler on Sunday and then warm and windy as we get into the early part of next week. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Shawna.
All right, well, it is Thursday. We know what that means in sports, right, Max?
That's right, Shawna. That means our athlete of the week. And who will it be? I'll tell you in a few moments. Coming up in sports. All right, Crossers, we're almost there to the weekend, and a lot of teams that we're talking about are now in the baseball, softball, tennis, powerlifting seasons in the spring season, but also we're in the track and field season, where one Refugio track and field star in discus and shot put thrower Sierra Tilley broke the discus record last week, throwing 144 feet and 3 inches. Well, that just got our attention, and guess what? That made her this week's Athlete of the Week.
To kick off track season in the Crossroads, we're taking you to Refugio, where Sierra Tilley is one of the standout throwers. A journey that's had its share of hardships and adjustments.
Okay, so I was gliding at first, and then I did rotation. Then I started doing rotational, and that takes years and years to get down. So basically, I sacrificed my junior year getting that down to be able to do it this year.
She broke a 29-year school record in discus with 144 feet and 3 inches. But due to her connection with the previous record holder, it made the feat sorta bittersweet.
It's a bittersweet moment. Bitter because, well, me personally, I knew the lady that held the record, and she always told me since I was a little girl that I was going to be good, and one day I will break her record, and I did. And now I just have to go get the shot record, and I'm only 5 or 4 inches away.
And although she's a senior, Tilley's work ethic was evident in my conversation with her.
And it's only the beginning, and there's more time to improve.
Ray Robinson, KAVU TV 25 News Now, Sports.
All right, congrats there to Sierra, but I just realized there, again, I said 144 with 3. Well, she just topped that today, having her 148 feet now and 3 inches. So again, 4 more feet more there for Sierra. So again, breaking records as we keep going on through these relays and everything else. Congrats there to Sierra for being this week's Athlete of the Week and breaking her own record as well. Now over to this week's fishing report, where again, we had a breezy week here in the Crossroads with the winds ramping up here the past couple days. So how'd that affect everyone going out to the waters? Well, we start here with the freshwater area with Coletto Creek towards Goliad. Currently the waters are good right now. The water temperature's at 65 degrees. Bass are good in 2 to 5 feet water near the reed and stumps area if you want to go catch out for some bass. And they are biting again on swim baits there to look out for. So that's only the freshwater area. Over to saltwater though with Port O'Connor, the waters are good there as well. Again, temperatures will get 60 degrees. Again, sheepshead type of fish can be caught throughout the jetties area with live or dead shrimp if you want to catch the bait wise. And again, trout are also a good option if you want to get some around Port O'Connor as well. Then Matagorda Bay, east and west Matagorda Bay, the water is fair. March fishing is that time is weather dependent though out around Matagorda Bay. Again, best on days when again the water is at low pressure. So keep that in mind if you're going out there to Matagorda Bay. And again, finally there out of Rockport, again the temperatures out there good, 62 degrees. Trout are good on live shrimp as well. And again, soft and muddy bottoms. If you want to catch out again those trout in that area, I would suggest going to that area in the muddy bottoms. Now over to the Cuero Lady Gobblers. They released their all-district awards, and again, first we're going to give it to the 4A MVP Arissa Carbonara, and then co-defensive MVPs were Mariana Da Silva and last week's Athlete of the Week and Aubrey Bowles. Then first team all-district awards went to Caitlin Comiskey and Jada Cooper, and finally Kiara Denson and Emery Da Silva getting second team all-district, with senior Kendall Bro getting honorable mention. All those players mentioned also got all academic awards, with props up to them, including Avery Okoso and Lilea Mendola as well got their academic all-district. Congrats there for the Lady Gobblers reaching their first ever state championship and getting multiple players winning all-district awards. That's going to do it here in sports. Shawna, back to you.
We're back in a moment. A single flaming hot Cheeto sold for an unbelievable price. Find out how much and why. Pokemon memorabilia can fetch some pretty wild prices, but this one takes the crunch. It's a flamin' hot Cheeto that resembles the character Charizard, nicknamed Cheetozard. Someone bought this spicy snack for, get ready, $87,840.
No.
It was found sometime between 2018 and 2022 before Golden Auction House sold the item. But that's where the answers end and the questions begin. The biggest two being, how was this particular Cheeto formed and why did someone spend so much money on it? Yeah. Well, perhaps the best answer was supplied by a social media user who commented, "This is kind of stupid." Hopefully the buyer feels less crummy about the purchase.
I mean,
so yeah, I mean, I don't know if that just happened to come out in manufacturing or if
the
someone
uniqueness, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess you just never know.
No,
like, you never know what you're gonna get, especially with Cheetos.
It looked like a Cheeto to me. I mean, it's a Cheeto. It doesn't look like anything.
They all look
kind of like that.
Weird, yeah.
All right, folks, we've got warm and windy weather for tomorrow, getting up to about 25 miles an hour in the afternoon, getting up into the 80s, including Saturday. But then Saturday night, cold front. Dry northwest winds kick in and we get a little cooler on Sunday.
All right, a little cooler, but not too bad. Still,
not cold.
Still can enjoy it. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Until then, have a great evening.